What's going on, Guardians, and welcome back. Today is Tuesday. It is reset day. Normally, I have a script for all my videos, but this isn't a build video, and we are going a little off book. Last week, the Rite of the Nine dungeons launched. It brought back Spire of the Watcher, Ghost of the Deep, and Prophecy. And out of those three, Prophecy is the only one that I thoroughly enjoy and that I'm really looking forward to, so I'm kind of bummed. We've got to wait a few weeks for it, but nonetheless, we kicked things off with Spire in week 1, which honestly wasn't too bad. We got the gold ultimatum clear, picked up some nice adept loot, and I was actually surprised that the emblem alone was tied to eternity or normal mode instead of ultimatum. That kind of stung a little bit, not gonna lie. I was really looking forward to specific emblems based on clearing the highest tier difficulty. No special emblems or cosmetics tied to the harder mode was definitely disappointing. But I don't want this video to spiral into something extremely negative. That's not what our channel or our content is going to ever be about. But I do want to talk about Rite of the Nine, what I was looking forward to, where Bungie nailed it, and where I think that they missed. So welcome to my channel. My name is Avatar. Let's dive in. When I first heard about the dungeon themed event, I was extremely hyped. And to give you some context, I didn't really get into PvE until Into the Light and Pantheon launched last year. Before that, I've been playing Destiny since 2015, mostly PvP. I would do raids every couple years, maybe in Nightfalls or Strikes if there was some PvP relevant loot tied to them. I never really had a squad to play with. I never had a mic, so PvE just wasn't my thing. Plus, I didn't know what to do or feel comfortable going into an LFG when I didn't have those things in, like mics or anything like that. But then Pantheon dropped and everything changed. The excitement of a raid boss gauntlet, adept weapons, raid exotics, red borders, plus the ability to get a new emblem for clearing it every single week. Plus the Godslayer title, I was hooked as soon as I saw it. Every single week, I couldn't wait to log in. And at the end of it, I even reran earlier weeks just to help people get their clears if they've never done it before. Frankly, I was tired of the know what to do or you have to do a raid to do this activity. That just wasn't the case for me. And it was that moment that really was the catalyst into me wanting to create content to help build a community and share the love that I have for Destiny, but at the same time, help people who have been in my position and been in my shoes do content that they never felt comfortable doing before. That's why I was really excited for the dungeon event to drop. So we're going to fast forward to now. I wasn't obviously expecting a Pantheon-esque activity, but I was hoping for a same level of excitement. With Spire launching, a few days passed while I worked on some other things, and then I hopped in and cleared the gold ultimatum. And honestly, I did have a lot of fun. The tweaking of the mechanics, adding new bosses, it made the old dungeons feel fresh again. Having the ability to get shiny or holofoil weapons, double perks, the adepts guaranteed, and having adept weapons for the first time, plus the new perk pool was fantastic. And then after, I kind of felt the structure was slightly off. We had Spire last week, and then again, we had Spire this week. And it felt like the event building up to the final shape, which was last year, was just so good. And now we're building up to the Edge of Fate coming out on July 15th. And I don't know if it's maybe story driven. That's why there's catering it this way and giving us this cadence of content rollout. But then doing the weekly quest and getting a static rolled shiny was kind of a bummer. It's a weapon that I'm not going to want to use. Perpetual motion rangefinder just doesn't hit. No rotation. It's kind of a bummer. You do the dungeon quest once that week and then you're done. So that kind of kills a little replayability for me. So I do enjoy the gameplay, and I will keep grinding it and going after certain roles of weapons that I do want. And there are some things that I think are missed opportunities, though. Having the emblem solely tied to eternity is great, and having an emblem for those normal style runs. But doing the ultimatum and getting a gold clear on every encounter and not having a cosmetic reward for that was a huge missed opportunity. And just 2 weeks in a row, I know a lot of people, and myself included, were expecting Ghosts of the Deep this way. And that I will take on my own responsibility, as that was what I was expecting. I don't ever remember seeing them communicate that that's how it was going to roll out. That's what I expected. So I'm not going to be too upset on Bungie about this, but I do think having the same dungeon weeks in a row with not too much to chase for replayability wise apart from weapon rolls is kind of a bummer. And you know, for me, getting that clear, getting that emblem, chasing the title eventually was what kept coming me back to Pantheon. I don't care too much about this title, but I do like that there's adept weapons, so I am going to grind for those. But at the end of the day, like, cosmetics are the end game for a lot of us. You know, like we got the guns we want, we enjoy it, we end up wanting titles and shaders and emblems. That's what keeps us grinding. There is a shader attached to this, I will give them that. But not seeing that same love for ultimatum clears is a bit of a letdown. But I will give credit where credit is due. Making this event free to play was a huge win. That is massive. Last night, I was able to help run somebody through Spire for their very first time, and they've never done it because they didn't own the dungeon. So pretty awesome. Giving everyone access to the loot pool, all of the dungeons. If you don't know how to do it, there's a mode that teaches you the mechanics. There's the normal mode that you can do, which also gets you fantastic rewards. So I think that's definitely a positive thing that you don't have to pay to do this event. Again, I can't be upset too much because I didn't pay for it. The only thing that I'm using up is my time. So if it's not worth your time, then don't do the activity. But I definitely understand the want to do the activity. Don't get me wrong there. But adding the mini bosses and the Banes, it was a nice fresh facelift to the dungeon. Plus the change in the mechanics as well was definitely nice. It made it feel unique, not necessarily like 100% like a unique activity or mechanic, but it felt new to do. It was nice to have to do things a certain way to get to the part where you could do damage. And then lastly, like we've already talked about, adding adept loot is a huge win, and guaranteeing those adept drops on ultimatum is a huge plus. And I'm having fun. It's nice, the ability to attune to whichever weapon you want to, just like you could in Into the Light. So that is definitely a really nice thing too for people. If you only care about a specific weapon, you have an extremely high drop chance to get it. I just did a run on normal mode just to do it, but get some footage, figure it out, do some stuff. And I got 6 Wilder flights just by doing the entire dungeon. So huge win in my opinion. Plus we finally got the cowboy hat, which is honestly the only reason I've ever done Spire anyways to begin with. So that's done. And I know there's a lot of controversy that I've seen for some videos about the guaranteed dungeon exotics like Hierarchy or the Navigator dropping from any difficulty level, even the ones that teach you the mechanics. Personally, I'm kind of split on this one. I do get why people want exotics to stay rare, but at the end of the day, let's be honest, these exotics have been out for a long time. They're not meta defining or breaking at the moment, and they're not a must have in everyone's loadout. So if Bungie wants to give free new to play players who've never done the dungeon or don't have the ability to do the dungeon all the time, they finally have the chance to let them in and get the exotics for the first time. I'm 100% for that. Because for me, I wouldn't have gotten into PvE if Pantheon didn't have the draw that it did. And it's really just opened my mind to what this game really is and what it can be. So if someone else gets hooked because of the same type of experience that I had, good. That's a win for the community. Honestly, I do get both sides of the coin, but I do think that it is a fantastic thing. I don't necessarily think it should be tied directly to every single difficulty. I think normal is a cutoff, but it's something that's can bring people in and get people to play the dungeon if they don't have it. Because if you're like me and you missed out on the Navigator melee meta, hey, now you can at least try it. It's not as broken, but you can still have fun with it. But I'm not trying to be overly critical or overly negative about this. I do think that Bungie had a chance to do something really special, and it kind of just fell off a little bit. Spire twice in a row doesn't feel great, especially when most people are probably looking to Prophecy. The weapons, honestly, are just better. With that being said, maybe they're doing it for story reasons, or hell, more likely, they just want us to keep playing through July until we get to the Edge of Fate. But it also could be both. And sure, the weekly reward might just be a normal shiny weapon with static rolls and a free exotic, but again, if it gets somebody engaged for the first time, that is not a complete loss in my opinion. And at the end of the day, we're not quitting over this. It's just a video game that we're here to have some fun. And I'm here fully because I love the game. I enjoy Destiny. I love helping people get their first clears, go after loot they've never gone after, and really just experience the end game for the first time. But no, I'm not thrilled how the event was structured so far, but I'm still going to show up, still going to run dungeons, and we're still going to help people. So if you want to jump in for your first clear, it doesn't matter if you know what to do. It does not matter if you have a mic. Come hang out, join our Discord, which is linked below, or feel free to hop in our Twitch as well. Leave a comment though if you are excited to run any type of Rite of the Nine activity, or just grab your first dungeon exotic. And remember, not everything has to be perfect. Sometimes it can just be fun. Thank you all for coming and watching, and I will catch you in the next one.